What's that? Uh, Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game.
Absolutely, we're talking about the playoffs because it's about that time of the season, and the weird thing is that it does, even with the extra week, it feels like this is one of the fastest seasons we've ever had, just because the regular season blew by. But I feel like it always does, and that's the unfortunate side. We wait half a year for football, then it feels like it lasts only 2 months long. But that is what it is. It's the nature of the beast. But we have an exciting month or so of football to go here, and there is a lot to look forward to. But thank you guys so much for tuning in to this 2022 NFL postseason preview show. Of course, we already broke down Week 18. You can go check that one. That dropped on Tuesday. So go make sure you're going over to thefourthandlong.com/NFL to check out that breakdown. And so you get the proper background that you need to go into this preview show at the playoffs. But we're going to be taking a look at everything from apparently it's not wild card anymore, ladies and gentlemen. It's super wild card weekend. Add the super to it. It makes it sound fancier, makes it sound cooler, and it probably makes the NFL more money somehow as well. Well, I guess the extra game is pretty obvious at how it makes them. No, but whatever. They'll probably find a way to make more money no matter what they do. But what we're going to take a look at here is, to me, the most interesting and exciting matchups to take a look out for this weekend. And also some stuff including the best chances of an upset, the wildcard teams I like the most, and my favorite prop bets. Of course, the fun part of this is, of course, going to be me going through my full playoff bracket predictions. It was kind of a tough one to choose, but we'll see when we get there. But, of course, my name is Ross Allen. Thank you for tuning in, like I said. Of course, you can find all of our stuff at thefourthandlong.com, everything on Twitter, on Instagram, and then we are also, I'm super active on there because I have 0 lives, so anytime you need me, I'll probably be there. Of course, you can find all of our great content at YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, even videos on Spotify, as well as Apple Podcasts, and pretty much anywhere you get your podcast from. But the first thing we're going to jump into here is my matchups I think that I've really circled on the calendar. And one of the ones I want to point out is that we get 2 divisional rematches here. The first one in the AFC being against the Bills and the Patriots, and the one in the NFC being the Rams and the Cardinals. Both of these series were split 1-1 in the regular season. The Bills, of course, they lost that super ugly weather game in Buffalo to the Patriots, super close game as well. And then they went into New England, and they essentially handled business. That wasn't necessarily the most competitive game. It was so close, but it wasn't anything crazy. The Bills clearly looked like the better team in that one. And then with the Rams and Cardinals, the Cardinals, both those games were close. Cardinals taking the first one, the Rams taking the second one. Of course, that first win from the Cardinals, the first matchup, was when the Cardinals were red hot and that they were really kind of proving a lot of people in doubters wrong in the NFL. So that's when they were looking good. The Chiefs, the Rams. I don't know why I said the Chiefs. All right. But the Rams won that second matchup in a close one, won by 1 score. And that was when the Cardinals were maybe a little bit more on the decline there, like we saw near the end of the season. And so both these are super significant because obviously I kind of noted on this when I was graciously invited to join the live stream on Tuesday with the review and preview sports guys. So go ahead on Instagram and check them out. There are a lot of places. Always a good time over there. And one of the things I was speaking about is you have to take a look at these rematches just because it's one thing to play a team twice is a division. You know these teams really well. It's another to have to play them a third time and have to prove yourself again. And I'm really excited for these ones. I'm more excited about the Rams and Cardinals one because that 1-1 split, it looks a little more competitive to me. And I'm not sure who to trust more going into this game right now just because the Rams are winning, but actually both of them lost week 18. The Rams are on a little bit more of a winning streak recently, but Matt Stafford has looked extremely shaky, and as I talked about in the week 18 preview, I think he is going to ultimately be the reason why the Rams lose and don't really do all that well in the playoffs. But then for the Cardinals, they had a solid offensive performance, but defensively they gave up way too many points to the Seattle Seahawks in Week 18, and the last kind of half of the season has been a lot worse than the first half was. So I think that's a big one to watch out for. But also Bills and Patriots. I think the Bills are a little bit more of the decisively better team. But, of course, still a lot to prove there. The Bills weren't able to win in Buffalo last time. We'll see if they'll be able to do such that this time. Then another matchup I really want to hone in on is going back to the NFC. And that is going to be the Dallas Cowboys offense versus the San Francisco 49ers defense. Because a really interesting thing here is that the Cowboys have the best offense in the league when it comes to yards per game and points per game. They lead the league with 407 yards per game and 31.7 points per game. Whereas on the other side of the football field, the 49ers are third overall defensively in yards per game and points per game. They're averaging 310 yards given up per game and only 21 points given up per game here. And this is probably going to be the ball game right here, just because we've seen when Dallas was on the downturn, when they're bad, is because their offense just looks lackluster. I think for just a good way to describe that. Dak Prescott, when they're Dallas Cowboys aren't winning football games, is because their offense is lackluster, and that's because Dak Prescott's playing average. Dak Prescott is not an average quarterback. He's easily an above average quarterback. He looked really good this season through most of it. Amari Cooper probably needs to get the ball more. And I love what Kellen Moore has been doing with the offense. So offensively, they need to prove it. And they've been a little bit inconsistent throughout this season. So obviously, they need to be on their A game come playoffs. And whereas on the other side of the football, the 49ers defense has had to bail out a turnover machine at times in Jimmy Garoppolo. And another interesting look at is, if you want flip sides of the football, Diggs loves to get his hands on the football. He does that quite often, but Jimmy Garoppolo likes to give away the football, and he seemingly does that one often. He had 2 picks against the Rams this last week. Luckily, they didn't hurt them in the end because they still won that game, but this was a tough one here. Wonder if Trey Lance might have an impact on the game as well. But it's going to be up to this offense versus defense matchup. And I think if the Cowboys or if the Niners need to, the way that they kind of exploit this matchup in the Niners is that they have to make Dak Prescott uncomfortable. If you can get Nick Bosa rushing the quarterback right there, their front seven is great. Fred Warner needs to have a good game there as well. I like the Niners' chances if they could pressure Dak Prescott. Just make him uncomfortable, because if you make him uncomfortable, that's when he becomes average, and that is when the game becomes very winnable. And that's when you got a guy who should be in the MVP conversation, Deebo Samuel. That's when he can take over games, and Kyle Shanahan can do his thing. Then stuff I want to look out for too is, like I was talking, one of the things I want to kind of hone in on here is maybe who has the best chance of pulling an upset. And if I had to, so if you take a look at it, the out of the non-top seeded teams, the teams with the best chance in percentage of winning the Super Bowl is the Chiefs. I think they're at 21%, and then the Bucks, who I believe are at 13%. So those are both the 2 seeds there. And the thing is, those 2 teams that, besides the number 1 seeds, have the best chance of winning. Actually, I think the Chiefs will have a higher chance of winning than the Titans, I think. So take that for what you will. I think it's also these 2 teams that probably have the highest chance of getting upset this weekend, because the Bucks are going to be taking on the Philadelphia Eagles, and the Kansas City Chiefs are going to be taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, in reality, neither of these games should be close, But that's why I'm a little bit weary when it comes into these, because we've seen too many times this season where the Pittsburgh Steelers should not win a football game. Then they go out and they win a football game, whether it's because Ben Roethlisberger wants to help them out or not. We all heard his speech this week saying that they're probably not going to win, so just have fun. That's a really interesting take, in my opinion, because it's one thing to say that the odds are stacked against us. Let's go out and see if we can prove them wrong. That's one thing. It's another thing to say, yeah, we're probably going to lose. Let's have fun. Those are two different statements to me. I don't like if I'm a Steelers fan, I'm not sure if I like to hear those words come out of Big Ben's mouth, but maybe he's just trying to pull off the old reverse jinx. If that's the case, he's on his way to doing a good job right there. And when it comes to Philadelphia Eagles, we've seen, and Nick Sirianni has done a great job as a rookie head coach. All right. I think he deserves a lot of the credit for what he's been doing. The Eagles just somehow pull off games, and I know you want to take a look at Week 18 where they got absolutely blown out by the Dallas Cowboys, but that's when the Eagles weren't really playing anyone. So I would love to see what Jalen Hurts can do against this Bucs secondary, which has probably been the weakest point of that Bucs team this entire season. I don't think that the Eagles secondary could keep Tom Brady down. So all the weight coming down to the very young quarterback in Jalen Hurts. He's going to have a huge prove-it game, and I am super excited to see how that goes and to see what he can do as well. Can he shine in the bright lights against the greatest quarterback of all time? We're going to find out very, very soon. And then when it comes to the wild card teams that I think have the best chance at winning the Super Bowl, of course, the non-division winning teams, the bottom two seeds here. Of course, out of the AFC, it was a fairly easy decision for me in the New England Patriots, just because I trust them way more than I trust the Raiders. And I trust a lot more people than I do the Raiders. They definitely got lucky to make it into the playoffs, but of course we'll see if they can turn that luck into at least a playoff win. Probably not a championship, but hey, I guess we're going to see there. And then the other AFC team in the Pittsburgh Steelers, obviously I don't have a whole lot of faith in them. So the team, I think the Patriots are probably they're one of the most well-rounded teams that we're seeing here right now, and the only problem is that they're going up against the Bills, which is a tough ask for any team in the league. And rookie quarterbacks typically don't do that well in the playoffs, at least historically. Of course, that's not really too much of a surprise there, but I do think the Patriots are the best team out of those three wild cards in the AFC. Then out of the NFC, this one was a bit of a tougher choice for me. Of course, the wild card teams in the NFC are the Eagles, the 49ers, and the Cardinals. And I love how I got the division exactly right. This year, my preseason predictions, I said in order is going to be the Rams, the Cardinals, the Niners, and the Seahawks, with those top three teams making the playoffs. So that's one take I'm very proud about. This one, to me, was definitely between the 49ers and Cardinals. And it was kind of a harder one for me to look at because I was kind of going through this, getting everything ready for the show, and you take a look at the head-to-head matchups where the Cardinals beat the 49ers twice in fairly convincing fashion. But at the same time, the 49ers have ended the season stronger than I think the Cardinals have. Or definitely end the season. The Cardinals definitely didn't end the season as strong as they would have liked to. So sometimes when it comes to the playoffs, you got to ride the hot hand. So that's why I think the NFC team, wildcard team, with the best chance to win the Super Bowl is the San Francisco 49ers. I think there might be a little bit more of a complete team and at least a more experienced team. And Jimmy Garoppolo is historically one of the better quarterbacks when it comes to winning road games. We've already seen him lead the 49ers to one Super Bowl, was able to win it because he overthrew Emmanuel Sanders late in that one. The Niners gave up a lead. But at the same time, I think that the 49ers, they've been there, they've done that. you can put a lot of weight into experience, especially when it comes to the NFL playoffs. So I am going to ride with the Niners there. Then, of course, I don't like sports betting as much just because, I hate betting on sports. It's too much of a toss-up. But one thing that I do always like to take a look at least is the prop bets, because these are a little bit more fun. Maybe it's more fun betting these and then betting the spread and that kind of stuff. So I want to take a look at the prop bets for the most receiving yards, most rushing yards, and most passing yards that a player is going to get this postseason. And now, this is you got to take a look and take a few things into consideration of who is the best, who has the best matchups when it comes to playoffs, and who's going to be in the playoffs the longest, because of course the more games you play, the longer you stay alive, the more yards you're going to have. So I want to take a look at most receiving yards, and I will be willing to bet that it's going to be Devonta Adams, because his connection with Aaron Rodgers this season has been absolutely unreal. It's been historical. They might be able to go down obviously, I think right now the best duo of all time is going to be Montana and Rice, but Rodgers and Devonta Adams are in that conversation, absolutely. And they're probably top three, spitballing off the top of my head, of receiver to quarterback combos or duos. I give it to, in no particular order, Montana and Rice, Rodgers and Adams, and Brady and Gronk. That's probably what I'd go with there. But Devonta Adams, he's with the Packers. They play one less game than these wildcard teams can. Of course, he has most 3 games, but Devonta Adams has been catching, it seems like, half the passes that Aaron Rodgers puts in the air. So I'll put my money on him. And then for rushing yards, I think you got to give it to playoff Lenny, because the Bucs have a great chance of making another run in the Super Bowl. They've been, at times, really heavy on the run game with Leonard Fournette, and they've been super effective with him. Leonard Fournette has had a great season. He's coming back from injury, so hopefully that won't slow him down too much. He's been able to get at least a decent amount of rest. So I do want to take a look at Leonard Fournette, because I think that run game from the Bucs could be a force, and that's probably going to win them football games ultimately. And then when it comes to the most passing yards, let's take a look at the guy that had multiple 500-yard passing games this season. And for Leonard Fournette, he's at plus 700 odds of having the most rushing yards. For Devonta Adams, he's plus 850. Then for most passing yards, I want to give it to Joe Burrow, who's at plus 1,600. To me, he's definitely one of the best bang for your bucks here, because we were just talking about a great wide receiver quarterback duo in Adams and Rodgers. Let's talk about one of the better ones we've seen this year in Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow. They've been freaking ridiculous and just torching defenses. And the Raiders, the Bengals get to play the Raiders in the first round of the playoffs. And we all know that the Raiders secondary isn't all that great. It hasn't been great this season, so you can definitely see the Bengals trying to exploit that. Let's ride with the guy that's just been a freaking gunslinger this season, Joe Burrow, most passing yards in the playoffs. And of course, last thing we're going to do here is I'm going to give all you guys my full bracket predictions for the playoffs. Now, it definitely wasn't easy. It was a bit of a harder one to come together, but we're going to do it. Of course, we'll love to hear what your guys' thoughts on this, whether it be in the comments on YouTube, on Rumble, leave a 5-star review over on Apple Podcasts, or of course hit us up, whether it be on Twitter or Instagram. Let me know what prop bets you like the most, what wildcard teams you like the most, who you think has the best chance for an upset, because I want to hear from you guys. You guys make this show possible. I love hearing your opinions, being able to talk with you over on mostly Twitter, because it's easier to do that than on Instagram. But yeah, find me there. And if you really want to, leave a package at my front door. I actually technically, oh man, maybe I shouldn't say this, but no, technically my address is public knowledge, because I had to register the business for the LLC. So, please don't throw bricks in my window, and please don't mail me pipe bombs or anthrax, because there's no need for that, quite frankly. But we're going to take a look. My bracket here, of course, taking a look at the wild card games first. Starting the AFC, it is we have the Bengals and Raiders. I'm going to take the Bengals in that one. Then we have the Chiefs and Steelers. I'm going to take the Chiefs in that one. And then between the Bills and the Patriots, I am going to take the Bills in that one, going with the higher seed in all of those. And then out of those divisional round games, it's Titans against the Bengals. I'll take the Titans in that one. Chiefs against Bills. I'm going to take the Chiefs in that one. And, of course, in the AFC Championship game, that means it's going to be the Titans and the Chiefs. I'll take the Titans. This was a hard choice to make, but ultimately I want to take a look at the run game. Derrick Henry is going to be back in force for the Titans, hopefully still by the championship game, because you better hope for him to be playing, because football is better with Derrick Henry, of course. But the Chiefs have not been great this season against stopping the run. So that's going to be a challenge if you got Derrick Henry running at you. And even with Devonta Foreman has been really good in replacement this year as well. The Titans are just a good running football team. Doesn't matter if they have Derrick Henry or not. And then that means got the number 1 seed Titans advancing to the Super Bowl. I know, 1 seed. It's just kind of what I went to. Is what it is. Then the NFC between the Bucs and Eagles, I'm taking the Bucs in that one. The Cowboys and Niners. This was a tough one for me to pick. I'm gonna go with the Niners though. I'm gonna go with the Niners over the Cowboys. I think they might be able to exploit that whole offense versus defense matchup I was telling you about. Or great offense against great defense. Defense wins championships. Let's ride with the Niners there, and then Cardinals and LA. I'm trying to determine who is truly the best team in that division, regular season and postseason. I got the Cardinals advancing as the 5 seed. So in the divisional round, that means we're going to get the Bucs and the Niners. I will take the Bucs in that one. And then we got the Packers versus the Cardinals. I'll take the Green Bay Packers to stay undefeated against the Cardinals this season, move to 2-0 against them. Now, of course, that's going to bring us with another 1 seed versus 2 seed and championship game in the NFC. And it's probably not too exciting, but I'll take the Green Bay Packers in this one. So I got 1 seed versus 1 seed, Green Bay Packers versus the Tennessee Titans. And the team I felt the most confidence for this entire season. I haven't really had too many doubts about them. They have the MVP. It's the last dance. What better way to cap off the last dance than for Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers to win the Super Bowl? I got them finally breaking through after it's been so long since the Packers won the Super Bowl. I think the last time they won, I was in elementary. I think I was in like 4th grade when the Packers won the Super Bowl last, maybe 5th grade. And I believe they Packers over the Steelers in that one. Take Aaron Rodgers, gets his 2nd championship of his career, and be one of the few quarterbacks that can actually win an MVP and a Super Bowl in the same year, because apparently that has been cursed for a little bit now. But that's what I got. Please let me know. I'll be dropping this on, I think, scheduled for Friday release. I'll be putting out my postseason bracket on Twitter and Instagram. So please reach out. Drop your thoughts on that one. Or you can also just yell at me earlier. If you think I'm really off on something, or if you think there's a team might be going underlooked, if this is a really basic bracket, which it might be, or if you think I'm on the money. So especially if you think I'm on the money, feel free to give me a pat on the back, because, I do like those. But all in all, it's going to be I'm really excited for these playoffs. If I had to tell you the team I am rooting for the most, or the Super Bowl matchup I'm rooting for the most, is going to be the Bengals versus the Packers. That's the one I want to see the most. I don't care. I want to see 2 high-scoring offenses with still some good defenses backed by them as well. I think that might be the most exciting matchup, to see the 2 best duos duke out, quarterback and receiver duos duke out in the Super Bowl. I think that's money. I think that would be tremendously exciting. And Shoot, man, I want to see the Bengals win the Super Bowl because that would be amazing. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in to this 2022 playoff preview. Of course, like I said earlier, if you haven't caught the NFL breakdown for Week 18, please go ahead and check that one out. That was a really fun one there. And if you have already, you're the best. I really do appreciate you. But ladies and gentlemen, please enjoy the playoffs, even if your team isn't in it, just like mine is, and they haven't been for a while now. You can still plenty to enjoy, and we're going to be doing a bunch of stuff. So please go ahead, follow us on Twitter or Instagram. Or best of all, just catch us at thefourthandlong.com. Go ahead, have your parties, have it, and I can't wait till the Super Bowl party because tradition is I bring out big ass plate of nachos, so I am looking for that big ass plate of nachos. Have a good weekend, everyone. We'll see you in the Super Wildcard Weekend breakdown over at thefourthandlong.com/NFL.